Welcome back to the Mike and Andrew Show. I'm Andrew Serwick here again with Mike Meredith. Mike, it's Thursday. We have a lot to talk about in terms of bowl games coming up this week. But how are you doing this fine Thursday evening, man?
Pretty good, man. It's getting closer and closer to Christmas, man. Can't believe Christmas is already like a week and a half out.
Yeah, dude, I just realized that. I'm like, shit. Next weekend I get to go home for Christmas.
Let's
Uh,
go.
we got quite a bit to talk about today. Um, really just previews and for some bowl games coming up, and then obviously NFL. Right now we got the Raiders and Chargers playing, and as of right now it's 21-0 with about 13 minutes left in the second quarter. Raiders in the lead. Pretty embarrassing for the Chargers, but I was gonna pick the Raiders to win this game anyways, Mike. But what were you here for, or what were you gonna pick for this game?
Yeah, I wasn't even sure. I was expecting like a 0-0 tie at this point, man. Both these teams suck so bad. The Chargers without Herbert and Staley's trash, and then the Raiders are just equally as trash. So, but yeah, I mean, I probably would have said the Raiders too, just because I can't pick the Chargers, man. They do stupid shit.
Yeah, no Herbert, no Allen. And they're on the road against a team that's just as bad as them. You got to go with the home team on that, especially considering that the home team at least has their starting quarterback.
Hmm.
But anyways, tomorrow we got a couple games for us. We have the Lions are hosting the Broncos. Detroit, a 4.5 point favorite in this game. I believe the line opened up at 3, so it's moved more towards the lines here. Um, that said, the injury report for the Lions looks a lot better. I believe Brian Branch is going to be back for the Lions on the defense, which is going to help a ton. That said, the Broncos have been red hot lately. Very, very good offensively. Defensively, they've really stepped up. But I think I'm going to go with the Lions here. I don't know if they're going to cover that 4.5, though. This is going to be a very, very close game, I think. But the Lions, they can win this game. They just have to stop turning the ball over, and that starts with Jared Goff. And then Ben Johnson has to, not be an idiot in the red zone. And they could win this game very easily if those two things happen.
Yeah, I think so too, man. It's tough because the Detroit team we've gotten the last like month has been just complete awful. But um, like you said, some people coming back. I think C.J. Gardner Johnson too has been cleared to come back, from what I was hearing. Um, so if he can come back as well, that's going to be a name that we can use and get Jerry Jacobs the fuck off the team right now.
Yeah,
Um,
please.
yeah, like he's just getting picked apart all the time, and his defense just needs to be better, man. Like even up front, man. I know Hutch is getting doubled or held a lot of the time, but um, I'm hoping he has a huge game, can get to Russell Wilson, and we can pull off this one, man, because we need some momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, look, the Lions, if they just win 2 out of the next 4, they
Yep.
win the division,
Yep.
and they're good, but they have to beat Minnesota in one of these,
Yep.
next
They got
4.
to at least split.
Yeah, they have to at least split with Minnesota and then win against, either Dallas, which I don't think that's going to happen, especially now with the way Dallas has been playing, or who's the other team that played? Or well, I guess yeah, Denver.
Denver.
Yeah, Denver. So yeah, it's if with Brian Branch being back, I believe he is back this week too. That can make a huge difference for the Lions defensively, but they got to contain Russell Wilson. Aaron Glenn has not been able to produce anything to stop mobile quarterbacks, and Russell Wilson is a mobile quarterback, so yeah. The Bengals on Saturday are also playing. They're hosting the Vikings. They're a 3 point favorite in this game. Um, Look, I thought with no Joe Burrow last week that they were just going to get demolished, but um, it was quite the opposite. They ended up getting a nice big win over the Colts. Um, Browning stepped in and had a really good game. Mixon had a really good game as well for them. I think they can win here. I really do. I'm gonna pick Cincinnati here. They probably cover that 3 points, but yeah, man, I just think the Vikings don't have any quarterback play now. No Justin Jefferson either. I mean, things are just falling apart for them now. And the Bengals, they look like they might be all right.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the Vikings. They're benching Josh Dobbs now for Nick Mullins. I'm taking Jake Browning over Nick Mullins, and Cincinnati's got still Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon. They still got talent. Um, I think that they're going to win this one too.
Yeah, Browning has actually surprised me a lot. He's been really good since Joe Burrow went down. The Colts will be hosting the Steelers. Indianapolis, a 1.5 point favorite here. Both these teams come into this game 7-6. They've both kind of just been disappointing the last couple weeks. After some strong starts to the season, especially for the Colts, didn't expect them to have 7 wins at all. I think their over/under was at like 5.5. But it's the Colts at home. They've been very good at home this year. The Steelers on the road this year, not so great. So I have to go with Indy here. I do think the Steelers could win this game, but I just don't see it happening. The Colts defense is actually really good still. It's just the offense at times, it's just like, it's really bad or it's really good. Last week it was really bad. And the defense let them down, but I feel like this could be a nice bounce back week for the Colts. But, it is the Steelers, so, they always find a way to win games somehow. So, like I said, it is very possible they could win this game still.
Yeah, this is tough because I think Indy's right now is the better team, just because the Steelers really suck, and I think Pickett might still be out. I'm not too sure, but if not, I mean, he's still not that great, and their roster is just very old or very inexperienced. So I think I'm going to go with Indy here as well, but I wouldn't be shocked, like you said, if the Steelers won this game. I think Jonathan Taylor and that Colts offense can get something going, even against the Steelers defense that's been okay this year. Definitely been stronger than their offense. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but the Colts just muster enough to get the W.
Sunday, the Dolphins host the Jets. Miami, a 9.5 point favorite in this game. Look, last week the Jets' offense went off. Obviously, you had, overtime Megan was there, so, Zach Wilson went off. So, that said, the Dolphins' offense, one of the best. Tyreek and Tua, one of the best combinations in the league. This Jets defense is really good, but the Dolphins got upset last week. I know they're looking to bounce back after a very surprising win or loss to Tennessee last week. I think Miami wins this game. I think they cover that 9.5. I mean, the Jets' offense is horrible. They just got one lucky game last week, and I think they'll be right back on form of being dog shit this weekend.
Yeah. I can't put my money on the Jets being good 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, I'm going to go with Miami as well. I think that Miami got a wake-up call, especially from just blowing that lead, that they're going to come out and not let up on the Jets.
The Titans host the Texans. The Titans a 3 point favorite in this game. It's very surprising that they are favorite in this game. I got to roll with the Texans here, man. I know they're on the road, hostile environment, division rival. Just Tennessee's just so bad. I know they got a nice win against Miami last week, very surprising win. And the Texans last week did not look all too good, but the Texans are fighting to win this division. They're really hoping for a Jacksonville loss this week, and they're trying to get a win here because they can easily get themselves into this, division win and into the playoffs. I think C.J. Stroud will have a nice bounce back week as well. The defenses will have a nice, um, recovery. I just think everything points towards the Texans here. Unless they play like they did last week, I don't see a way they lose this game.
Yeah, I really like the Texans in this game too. I think that they have proven themselves that they can win these games, and even though they have lost some recently, I still think that they have definitely overachieved, and I'm taking them for this game.
The Packers host the Bucks. Packers a 3.5 point favorite in this game. The Bucks are fighting for a division lead. The Packers are still trying to somehow keep themselves alive, but they lost to the Giants last week in an embarrassing fashion. Um, and look, this is going to be a very close game. I don't know if either team will get more than 3.5 points ahead by the end. Um, the Bucks suck. The Packers suck. I really don't know where I want to lean with this game. I'm leaning more towards Green Bay. I know their offense has been a little bit better overall this year. The defenses are very similar in terms of performance. So this is going to be a very, very close game. I think I got to pick the Packers here. I really hope not, but, my wish has never come true.
Yeah, I think I'm going to roll with the Packers here too.
The Saints host the Giants. New Orleans, a 6 point favorite in this game. Understandably so, because the Giants is a clown car team. That said, the Saints, they're also fighting for that division in the NFC South. They're three-way tie with Atlanta and Tampa Bay, and then there's Carolina. The Giants, they suck, but they pulled off a nice victory over the Packers last weekend. Improving themselves to 5-8, but I just think the Saints at home, they're really good. I think it's very possible that we could see the Saints win here. I don't know about this 6 point cover though, but I think the Saints for sure win this game at least. They have a better offense for sure, and the defense is not good, but I think they can definitely contain Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, I can't believe the Giants have been doing as well as they have. They've actually been doing better since Daniel Jones has gotten hurt, and while their team still sucks, the Saints suck as well. I think that they're frauds as well, but I gotta go with the Saints here. They're just even though they're, I wouldn't say more reliable because they're really not. They lose a lot too, and they don't seem to be consistent week to week. But they have a better chance of performing well, so I gotta roll with the Saints for that reason.
Yeah, both these teams very fraudulent. The Panthers host the Falcons. Atlanta, a 3 point favorite in this game. Plain and simple, Atlanta's quarterback can at least see the field. And
Not very well.
not,
He can see, but he's just garbage.
yeah, he knows how to throw the ball right to the defense, but this Carolina defense is dog shit anyways. Shitter can run at least, and he has some weapons. Bryce Young has no weapons over there in Carolina, and he can't see anything, and he's because he's the Keebler elf. So I don't see any way Atlanta loses this game. They have a really good defense on top of that. So I mean, like the Falcons' defense is Super Bowl caliber winning. Like they are that good. Just the offense has been so bad, but this Panthers defense is really bad. So I gotta roll with Atlanta here.
Yeah, I can't in good mind pick the Panthers with how bad they've been, but I really don't like Atlanta that much either. But I'm gonna go with Bijan just going crazy, 100-yard game. I don't think Desmond Shitter's gonna do much of anything.
I don't know, man. Bijan has not been looking all too great so far. I mean, Gibbs has been the better running back by far this year for rookie running backs. The Browns host the Bears. Cleveland, a 3 point favorite in this game. Look, the Bears had a nice win last week against the Lions, who played like utter shit. That said, Joe Flacco, man, out of nowhere, he's come off the bench and he's been really good the past 2 weeks now. And yeah, I got to roll with the Browns here. They have a much better defense. The offense has really been surprising because of Joe Flacco. And the Bears still suck. I know they got lucky last week with a very nice win over the Lions, but I don't think they're going to have that kind of performance again.
Yeah, I don't see them having that kind of performance again either. And the Browns have been doing pretty well for themselves with the situation that they're in. So I trust them that they can handle this Bears team. That um, you know, last week they were over there cheering like you just made your draft pick worse, man. Like no one cares.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter because they still have the first overall pick because,
Yeah.
Carolina is so bad and they have Carolina's pick. So it doesn't really matter for them in terms of that. But, anyways, the Patriots are hosting the Chiefs. Kansas City, a 7.5 point favorite here. Interesting that they're only 7.5 points. I figured Kansas City would be a lot bigger of a favorite here, but I got to roll with the Chiefs, even though they have not been performing very well at all this year, especially offensively. Defensively, they've been pretty solid, but the offense at times has been costing them games. Obviously, Kadarius Toney, lining up a mile off sides doesn't help, but yeah, got to go with the Chiefs here. The Patriots are just so bad. I don't even know who their starting quarterback is anymore because they keep switching between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. It doesn't matter. The Chiefs' defense is really good, and the Patriots' offense is one of the worst in the league. So you got to go with the Chiefs. 7.5, they probably cover that, but only because maybe the defense probably scores them some points.
Yeah, it's like this bad Kansas City offense versus the good Patriots defense. Like, what do you like? What are they gonna do? Like, are they gonna score on defense and pick Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi apart? Like, I do think the Chiefs will probably cover, but it's gonna be. I think it might be an ugly game, man. I think the Chiefs might have to work for this one when they really shouldn't, because this should be an easy win for them. But the Chiefs have been so up and down this year, man.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs can bounce back after that brutal loss, but yeah, no, there's no way the Patriots win this game. The Cardinals host the 49ers. San Francisco, a 12-point favorite in this game. And they're a 12-point favorite for a reason. Their defense is elite. The offense, they can cook. The Arizona defense is so god awful. You got to go with the Niners here. Brock Purdy's just going to have a field day. And I know he's the MVP favorite right now, but fuck's sake, man, please no.
Yeah, 49ers, this is the easy pick. I mean, this is another just gimme. Um, Not much else to say.
The Rams host the Commanders. Rams are a 6.5 point favorite in this game. The Rams are fighting for a wild card spot still. They have an outside chance at it. They're in the graphic, which that's where they expect it to be at least. The Commanders, they sold everything at the deadline, and I mean I don't think they've won a game since the trade deadline. So I got to go with the Rams here. Stafford is going to pick apart this defense because this defense is really bad, especially the secondary. And Nakua and Kupp are just very, very dynamic for this Rams offense. I just think there's no way the Rams can lose this game just because the offense is going to be able to help them a lot. And the Commanders don't have an offense either, so the Rams defense, as bad as it's been, won't really have an issue anyways because the Commanders can't score anything.
Yeah, I mean, Rams looked pretty good last week, even though they lost. They battled with the Ravens, and this Commanders team just defense all around. They gave up Montez Sweat, so they have like no pass rush. They secondary's garbage. Sam Howell. I'm not too big on Sam Howell. I know he's had some good moments at points, but I'm not too crazy about him. I think this is easy win for the Rams.
Yeah, it should be an easy win here. The Bills host the Cowboys. Bill is actually a 2-point favorite in this game. I got to roll with the Cowboys. The defense has been really, really good all year. The offense started off kind of shaky with Dak throwing a lot of picks, but I don't think he's thrown a pick in the last, I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks now. So the offense is super efficient. CeeDee Lamb has turned into an elite level wide receiver. I got to go with the Cowboys here. I as much as I hate the Cowboys, I just don't see how Buffalo can win this game. I mean, unless they play a completely perfect game, I don't see a way the Bills win.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for the Bills here. Um, you know, Dallas has been on fire, so they definitely have the advantage. I think Buffalo isn't going to get blown out. They always seem to keep games pretty close, but never win them. I mean, Dallas is the same way as well, but Dallas, they've just been one of the hottest teams so far. I think that they're going to win this.
Yeah, I think just they're so hot right now, and the Bills are so inconsistent. I can't pick the Bills. I'd love to, just because fuck the Cowboys, but no. Um, Sunday Night Football. The Jags host the Ravens. The Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite in this game. Um, Look, Jacksonville, they escaped, having to not have to you worry about Trevor Lawrence being injured. But the Ravens' defense is so good. The offense has been very efficient. Now they're on the road, so they don't play nearly as good as they do when they're on the road or when they're at home when they're on the road. But I got to go with the Ravens here. I think Jacksonville, I mean, they're going to try and keep themselves alive in this game because they have to win to stay ahead of Houston here. I just don't think that they're going to be able to. I think the Ravens win. I don't know if they're going to cover that 3.5 just because, Jacksonville, they're going to be super aggressive to try and win this game, but I think the Ravens end up winning this game anyways.
Yeah, I think the Ravens win too, which sucks for Jacksonville that they have such a hard opponent this week, but they've had their chances, but just Trevor Lawrence being hurt and just them really getting hit hard recently with some bad luck in games. Probably lose this one as well.
Yeah, and then Monday night, the Seahawks host the Eagles. Philly, just a 3-point favorite in this game. And it's pretty obvious why the last couple weeks have not looked good for Philly. They've been through a gauntlet. The Seahawks, they're fighting for a playoff spot as well. But I think Philly can win this game. I think they're going to look to bounce back. I know they still have a pretty tough schedule the rest of the year, but I just think Philly is a much better team overall than the Seahawks. The Seahawks don't have Geno Smith, and that does not help their offense at all. So I got to roll with the Eagles here. I think they're going to be looking to bounce back, but I think this is going to be a pretty close game at the end.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Eagles as well. Seahawks, they've looked better than I thought the last few weeks, but still, Philly's got to get wins on the board, especially if they want to take back that division. So I'm rolling with them.
Yeah, I think they'll be, I think Philly can win this game, but I think it is going to be close. I feel like Seattle, while they're fighting for a playoff spot, they can still get in even if they lose this week, but I think they're going to be really, really trying to push to win. So that does it for your NFL Week 15. We're going to head over to college now. We got bowl games starting this weekend, starting Saturday, the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Ohio versus Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern's a 3.5-point favorite in this game. Georgia Southern 6-6, Ohio 9-3. Both these teams kind of match up pretty equally in terms of production, but Georgia Southern had a much tougher schedule this year, considering they played a lot better schools than Ohio did. I think Georgia Southern wins this game. Offensively, I think they match up a little bit better than Ohio does, and so yeah, I got to roll Georgia Southern here. They're a lot more tested than Ohio.
Yeah, I'll go with Georgia Southern. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know too much on either of these teams this year. Definitely seems like a weaker bowl game. But we can't pick Ohio. I mean, that's against the rules here, man. So gotta go with Georgia Southern.
Florida A&M will host Howard in the Cricket Celebration Bowl, wherever the fuck that is. See, this is the problem with bowl games for a minute. It's just
Yeah.
like a lot of these bowl games now, like they're meaningless because like most schools make them now because you just have to because there's so many of these games. It's ridiculous. But Florida,
And the name, yeah.
yeah, like the main bowls don't really have mean anything now because nobody plays anymore. Nobody with talent plays. I guess it's all like second and third string players, unless you're a group of five school. Then you actually play as a starter. But outside of that, man, it's these games suck. But anyways, Florida A&M's coming into this game 11-1. Howard's coming in 6-5. 6-5. They only played 11 games. Okay. Anyways, Florida A&M. Just looking at some analytics, just they have a better offense than Howard. Howard's defense struggled this year, so I got to go with Florida A&M.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Florida A&M as well. Um, Definitely a more well-known team. I mean, Howard. Like, no, I'm not picking Howard.
Howard, who the fuck is that guy? uh, the R plus L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, Louisiana. The Raging Cajuns are hosting Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State a 2.5 point favorite in this game. I'm gonna roll with my Raging Cajuns here. They are a lot more battle tested, I think, than Jacksonville State was this year. I know the record probably doesn't show it, but Louisiana's a 6-6 team. Jacksonville State 8-4. I just don't think Jacksonville State really played that tough of a schedule, so I gotta roll with Louisiana here.
Yeah, I'll roll with Louisiana too. I mean, again, I didn't really follow any of these mediocre teams that barely made bowls. But you know, I'm gonna roll with just off my gut and the bowl being in Louisiana. It sounds like go with them.
I mean, it's a home game for them, really.
Yeah.
App State is hosting the MAC champions, Miami of Ohio. App State a 6.5 point favorite in the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. Look, App State went and they played in their conference championship and lost. Obviously, Miami of Ohio got a huge upset win over Toledo to win the MAC. I got to go with Miami here, man. I think their offense is really, really explosive. I've watched that MAC title game, and they just look really, really good. A lot of big plays. They have a really, really good receiver. I can't think of the guy's name right now, but I mean that man will literally catch everything thrown his way. So I got to roll with Miami here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Miami too. Even though it's the MAC, they definitely looked impressive. And App State, I believe they lost their conference championship game, and uh, Miami just looking like the better team.
Yeah, App State lost to Troy in pretty embarrassing fashion in the Sun Belt Championship, 49-23. I'm surprised that they're favored by this much in this game. Uh, the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. We have Fresno State facing off with New Mexico State. New Mexico State a 3.5 point favorite in this game. It's a home game for them. New Mexico State, playing a very close game with Liberty in their conference championship game, but just fell short. I'm gonna roll with New Mexico State. I know Fresno State was ranked at some point in the season, but they kind of started to fall off, especially once they started to play real teams. And New Mexico State has looked really good this year. Out of nowhere, they really have started to look really good. So, and it's a home game for them, pretty much. They'll be wearing the visitors jersey, but I believe it's in their stadium. So, it's an effective home game for New Mexico State. So I got to roll with the favorites in this game.
Yeah, I mean, games basically in their home field and um, favorited in this game. I got to roll with New Mexico State.
The Starco Brands LA Bowl. Boise State and UCLA will face off. UCLA a 4-point favorite in this game. A home game for UCLA. I forget what stadium. I know it's not in the Rose Bowl, obviously, their home stadium, but it is in But this game is in LA, so it is an effective home game for UCLA as well. Boise State was really good this year. They kind of disappointed me. I thought they were going to be in for sure No, no, they did win the Mountain West. Never mind. I thought they lost to UNLV. No, they did beat UNLV. So
They played good in that game.
yeah, never mind. UCLA disappointed me this year. They looked really good to start the year and then just fell way the fuck off. Dante Moore's left the portal. I think Boise State can pull off the upset here, even though for UCLA it is you know, they have a better chance because they're just a Power 5 school. But I just think Boise State has a lot more starters playing in this game, so I got to roll with them.
Yeah, this is tough because I think that Boise State's been playing good. UCLA looked really strong at the start of the year. They were almost top 10, definitely in the top 20 at one point. But I think I'm gonna go with Boise State, man, in this one.
Texas Tech will face off with Cal in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Texas Tech a 3-point favorite in this game. Both these teams coming in this game 6-6. A lot of starters sitting out in this game for both teams. Usually when that happens, you got to pick the favorite because you don't really know what you're gonna get in these bowl games, especially with all these starters sitting out. I think Texas Tech has a better overall roster still, even with the starters that are playing. So I got to roll Texas Tech here.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Texas Tech. It's tough though because both these teams aren't really at full strength. So, um, I just think for that reason, Texas Tech, more hardened team, win this game.
Monday, we will have one game. It is Old Dominion and Western Kentucky facing off in the famous Toastery Bowl. Old Dominion is actually a 2.5-point favorite in this game. Western Kentucky, I know they have quite a few guys not playing in this game. I don't know about Old Dominion. I haven't seen anything about starters not playing or not. So maybe that's why they're favorited. Because otherwise, I would think Western Kentucky is a better program in general than Old Dominion. So I would think they would be favorited in this game. So I might have to roll with Old Dominion just because I see that. Just because I know for sure, how many starters aren't going to be playing for Western Kentucky. I wouldn't be surprised, though, to see Western Kentucky win here, but I think maybe Old Dominion could pull this off just because they probably have more experienced players playing in this game than Western Kentucky will.
I'm gonna go with Western Kentucky. I just feel like their school is more equipped to handle a game than Old Dominion, but Old Dominion, like you said, probably has more experienced players, but we'll see. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and then Tuesday we will have Marshall and UTSA facing off in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl.
Bro, what are these names?
It,
Bro,
all these sponsors are ridiculous.
it's crazy. I was talking with someone today.
Yeah,
The names are ridiculous.
yeah, but the thing is with all these bowl games is like the sponsors are usually something to do with the area that the game is in. So I guess Scooters Coffee is a brand from around wherever the Frisco Bulls played at. But anyways, UTSA is a 13-point favorite over Marshall in this game. Usually in bowl games, if you see that big of a favorite, you go with the favorite. Marshall stroke. They barely got to 6-6 this year. UTSA had a tough schedule this year. They're not, an elite program by any means. I mean, they're 8-4, but I gotta roll with them here. They have a really good offense. I like a lot of what I see from that UTSA offense, so I gotta roll with them here.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with them too. With that big of a favorite, they gotta be.
So that's gonna wrap up the bowl games for now. We're gonna Tuesday's episode. We're gonna preview some more, and we're also gonna review everything that we talked about, except for the UTSA Marshall game, because that game will be being played while we're recording the episode. Um, but everything else that's coming up, we have a game next Thursday, so we'll definitely for sure have to talk about that on Tuesday's episode, along with a whole bunch of other bowl games still. We're getting closer and closer to, the real games that actually matter, but, I mean, there's only two bowl games that actually matter, but,
Yeah.
yeah, lot of football still to be played this year. I like bowl season. I just think these, a lot of these bowl games are ridiculous because they're a bunch of shit teams facing off with each other.
Yeah.
So that's gonna do it for that. So Mike, we have some stuff we want to talk about now in the NBA. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, so as many of y'all have probably heard, Draymond Green's back at it again with his antics, and um, it's ridiculous what he's doing, man. I mean, that was all over ESPN and the talk shows. So if you guys haven't already, check out the video. Of course, we won't show it on here, but in the Warriors Suns game, Draymond, gets a little bit tangled up with Yusuf Nurkic, and Nurkic really isn't doing much. I mean, they kind of lock arms a little bit at first, and then Draymond just flat out flails his arm and basically karate chops the guy in the face, blindsides him. He's not even expecting it, and he claims it was an accident, that he didn't mean to do that, but I mean, it's pretty clear that he swung his arm like that, and was trying to hit some part of him, and yeah, it just did not look good. So Draymond was already suspended 5 games this year already for putting Rudy Gobert in a headlock when there was another altercation earlier, and I've seen lots of different predictions here. So people are predicting that he's suspended indefinitely right now. So meaning that it's pending. They're still trying to decide how many games. But I've seen people as low as 5, and I saw some saying that he could be suspended the rest of the season. I don't think either of those are going to happen. I think it's going to be between 10 to 15 games. 10 on the lighter side, 15 on the heavier side for Draymond. He's been a really big repeat offender of just incidents and antics like this, like kicking people in the nuts, stomping on people, putting them in headlocks, punching teammates, now flailing his arms and hitting people. It's like they're definitely not gonna promote this in basketball right now, and I just find it funny, man. All these people just keep saying, he needs help, and a lot of people predicting that they might even have him take like an anger management class or some sort of like corrections class to deal with whatever's going on. Because, like I said, this is not a first time thing. He's done this a lot. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I saw the video. I mean, it is very, very clearly intentional what he did. Um, that said, I mean, get him for as many games as you possibly can for that. I mean, that is, I mean, you want to keep stuff like that out of the sport. I say that as a hockey fan, and fighting's just a part of hockey, but it's different in basketball, especially when you just blindside someone though too like that. I mean, um, and he's a repeat offender of doing stuff like this. So I mean, just lay on 15 games for him or something. I mean, it was really really bad. But that's all I really got on it. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna ask you real quick because I know Tom Wilson is a pretty big offender in hockey. What was like the most he ever got for doing something like this?
so I don't think he's ever suckered anyone, but I think the longest suspension he got was 20 games for
Hmm.
a check to the head, and it got reduced to like I think it was 17 or 18, and that was a few years ago. I think he's had longer suspensions. I can't remember for what exactly. Uh, but I mean, we've seen instances in the NHL where guys will sucker punch someone and you know they don't even get suspended for it. And then, there's other instances where, guys have sucker punched someone and they got like 30 games for it. I mean, and then they'll usually those huge suspensions get shortened down quite a bit. Um, so I don't think we've ever actually seen anyone serve a full 30 game suspension like that. But yeah, man. But what Draymond did here, man, just absolutely egregious.
Yeah, he just I don't know, man. I look at this stuff and it's like he doesn't even try and make it subtle. Like he kind of reminds me a little bit of Sue, like where Sue would just do shit and like he tries to make it subtle, but also at the same time it's like pretty obvious what he's doing. So it's like it's ridiculous, man. He's the only player. Like I mean, there's players obviously that are annoying, like Patrick Beverly and others that like chirp and trash talk, and they're just annoying, but never anything like just swinging on players at random or punching people for no reason. Um, so yeah, he's got to get it figured out, man. Because if not, I mean, like I said, 15 games without definitely going to be suspended without pay. So it's going to just keep getting worse and worse for him if he doesn't keep fixing this. If he doesn't fix this problem.
Yeah, maybe some anger management classes would do him some good. You know who else would do well for some anger management is Jawan Howard, Michigan
Honestly,
basketball head coach. Man, I mean he's about to get fired. I think honestly.
yeah, he had that whole incident with the coach
Yeah,
last year. He's another one. He's a hothead, man.
and he's under investigation right now for some stuff too. I saw. I don't know all the details on it, but yeah, things aren't looking good for him. But I know he's gotten in a lot of trouble just yelling at players. And I mean, I saw something he like threatened to kill someone. I think it was a player. So it's
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
ridiculous,
chill
man.
out, bro.
Yeah, it ain't that serious.
It ain't that deep. But yeah, um, turning things away from the or from the NBA to the NHL real quick. Today, Forbes they released their annual article on the value of NHL teams this year, and the Toronto Maple Leafs is back on top of being the most valuable franchise in the league at valued at $2.8 billion. Last year it was the Rangers that had the highest value. Um, at 2.2 billion, and the Rangers improved their value this year. They're up to 2.65 billion now, and then the Montreal is the third most valuable. We have four teams that are worth over $2 billion now, and 21 of the 32 teams are worth at least $1 billion. Arizona's the least valuable at 500 million. Part of that has to do with the fact that they don't have an arena, though, so their value will actually go up a lot once they actually have an actual arena and aren't playing in a college arena. That said, though, lots of positive news in just terms of money for the NHL. Um, Last year, local sponsorship between all 32 teams was worth around $1.08 billion. It's up to 1.14 billion this year, so a lot more revenue coming into the teams. And then nationally, sponsorships are up another $12 million. That went from 323 million last year to 335. So the NHL, it's no surprise that next year the salary cap is going up again. It went up this year, and it's going to go up next year. And the way the projections are looking right now for the NHL, it looks like we could have almost $100 million for a salary cap in the near future, just because they're finding different ways to make revenue now, and they're starting to promote the league better, which is very good. You want to see that. You're going to start seeing a lot higher paid contracts, because I know the NHL, the highest paid players in the NHL make less than most bench warmers in the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So So we're gonna start seeing bigger deals for the top players now, and it's good. It's good for the sport to see all this growth. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, look at baseball, man. Otani's getting paid more in 1 year than some of these top guys in the NHL are making for their entire salary. Like even like the best of the best guys. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Connor McDavid, I think he might be the highest paid player right now. Let me check that actually. Who is the highest paid player right now? Oh, it's Nathan McKinnon right now. He's 17.5 million this year, which is insane. Because a few years ago, the highest paid player I think was making 11 million, which I mean this is still low compared to what the NBA has.
Yeah, that's like a bench player's like salary.
Right, just it's still low, but it is. But the salary cap is still growing every year now for I think the last couple of years, and it's gonna grow even more next year. And the projections have it going up near 100 million over the next 3 or 4 years. So obviously, this is very good for the sport in general. So yeah, that's gonna do it though for this episode. Pretty short one. We're only about 47 minutes in, but yeah, I think that's gonna have to wrap it up. Mike, you got anything else you want to add?
No, man. I think it was a good episode. Definitely one on the shorter side, but glad we were able to get through all the NFL, college football, and even touched a little bit in the NBA and NHL.
Yeah, very good episode. Like I said, next Tuesday we're gonna review, obviously all the NFL games and then everything that we covered in terms of bowl games, and we're gonna have to preview a few more bowl games as well on Tuesday. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us. So rate, review, subscribe, help us out. Let us know, hey, we want to see more whatever content. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you guys on Tuesday.